Adonai. Naria, Naria, Tsui Shinu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Tsui Shinu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. Lechuneranina, Lechuneranina, Ranina Ladonai. Lechuneranina, Lechuneranina, Neranina Ladonai. Ki El Gadu Armel Hulin. Hashem the Queen Arz of Shilohem who Savia Beshitim. Yes. Arbaim Shana Kut Bedol Vaomar Amtu Elevabehem Vehem Liadu Drachai Asher Nishpati V'api Im Yavun El Menuchati. Let us sing a new song to Adonai. Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, page 16. Shirul Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shirul Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shirul Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sapru v'goyim kevodo, Bechol ha'amim nifleotav, Ki gadol Adonai, Umulal me'od, Norahu, Al kol Elohim, Ikol Elohe, Ha'amim elilim b'Adonai, Shmayim asa, Od behadar lefanav, Oz vetiferet b'mikdasho, Hamvul Adonai, Mishbechot amim, Hamvul Adonai, Kavod ba'oz, Hamvul Adonai, Kavod shemo, Seu minachal, Kol chatzrotav, Ishtachavu l'Adonai, Behadret Kodesh, Hilu mipanav kol haaretz, Imru v'goyim Adonai malach, Avtikon tevel ba'al timot, Yadinamim b'mei sharim, Yanai rai rai rai, Yanai rai rai rai, Yai rai 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 rai, Hai rai rai rai, Yai rai rai rai, Yai rai rai rai. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Betagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Umelo'o, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Lo, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Betagel haaretz. Ya'alo sebechol shebo, Az yiran kol etzeyar, Livner nagival, Yival yishpot haaretz, Yishpot eivel betzedek, Veyamim be'emunato. Page 17. Adonai malachti la'aretz, Swim rabim nandrafel. Higidu hashamayim situho v'ra'okol. one of the themes of this Psalm 97, is justice and judgment. And we see that when we look at some of the Hebrew in there. Laman mishpatecha Adonai, for the sake of your justice, Adonai. And these days it can seem a little bit difficult to know what is just or what is right or what is wrong, because those lines keep feeling like they're getting so blurred with everything that's going on in the world. And I know, speaking from me, I really would like to have more peace. There's just an awful lot of hatred and anger. And anger is a normal emotion. It's okay to have, but it's important that it's exercised justly and controlled. And some of the things that we saw this week were out of control, and they were scary. And so when we're reading the words of this psalm, and when we're thinking about God as one who is sowing light for the righteous, we ask God to bestow justice and fair judgment upon all those in this country and all over the world. And so we sing together at the bottom of this page, Or Zaru Lat Tzaddik, light is sown for the righteous.
Or Zaru Lat Tzaddik, Uleish Lev Simcha. Or Zaru Lat Tzaddik, Uleish Lev Simcha. Simchut Tzaddikim Adonai, v'hodu lezecher kodsho. Simchut tzadikim Adonai, v'hodu lezecher kodsho.
Mizmor Shir L'Adonai Shir Chadash, Kivot Asahu Shir Loida, page 18, Zachar Chosev Utavlit. Hariu L'Adonai Kol Haaretz, Pitzchu V'Nazun. Here in Psalm 98, as these psalms are constantly pushing us forward towards the essence of Shabbat, the Kala, Lecha Dodi, the bride of Shabbat, we now turn from justice to joy and triumphantness of God through nature. And we have that when we say the words Yiram Hayam Umelo'o Tevel V'Yoshveva Neharotim Cha'uchaf Yachad Harimiranenu. Let the sea roar with all its creatures, the world and its many inhabitants. Let the rivers applaud. Neharotim Cha'uchaf. That's the word to clap. The rivers are clapping. And I don't know if any of you have been, by a river, and sometimes by a brook in particular, and you can almost hear that kind of like little clapping. It's like babbling of a brook, if you will. And so they're all trying to echo the earth's joyous song. The earth is singing all around us. All we have to do is take time and listen and open ourselves up to it.
V'yifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel betzedek, be'amim be'meisharim. Adonai malach yigzu amim yerushev kenota haaretz, Adonai b'sogato. Moshe v'yarkochen Moshe b'korei shemo ve'emud li'deber be'hem. Adonai Eloheinu, al ta'nitam, el nosei
Good to see you, Jess. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu hakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu hakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu hakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. My friends, we come to one of my favorite psalms for Kabbalat Shabbat, Psalm 29, where we think about all of the different ways in which God's voice is described in this particular psalm. The voice of Adonai thunders over rushing water. The voice of Adonai roars with might. It echoes with majesty. It literally smashes, it breaks the cedars. It's so powerful, God's voice. Mizmor leDavid, Avul Adonai b'nei Elim, Avul Adonai kavod ba'oz, Avul Adonai kevod shemot, Shtachavu Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakafor hirim, Adonai mayim rabim, Adonai mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzeh halvanon, Vayarkideh kemo egel Lebanon veSiyon kemo ben Remim, kemo ben Remim. Kol Adonai kotzev labodesh, Kol Adonai yachi al midbar, Kol Adonai yechol b'kadesh, Kol Adonai yechol el ayalot, vayechesov ye'arot, uvayikalo kulo mekavod, kulo mekavod, kulo mekavod. Adonai lamavu yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai ozei amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, et amo v'shalom, et amo v'shalom. All right, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. Starting to really feel like Shabbos now. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling it. Okay, so we now turn to the pinnacle. This is what we have been preparing for. With each psalm, we are now building to Lecha Dodi, the bride of Shabbat, the essence of Kabbalat Shabbat. Kabbalat meaning receiving Shabbat. Comes from the Hebrew word lekabel, to receive. And I'd invite you, if you feel comfortable, to enter into the chat one thing that you are looking forward to Shabbat bringing you this week. One thing that Shabbat and its peacefulness and its tranquility can bring you this Shabbat. Feel free to enter that in as we sing to our bride, our Shabbat bride, Lecha Dodi.
Ay, lecha dodi, ay, likrat kala, ay, penei Shabbat nekabela, shamur וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולצילה. אי די לך דודי, אי די לקראת כלה, אי די פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. אי די לך דודי, אי די לקראת כלה, אי די פני שבת נקבלה, מקדש מלך היא מלוכה, ומצאי מתוך הפכה, רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, ויחמול לך חמלה. אי די לך דודי, אי די לקראת כלה, אי די בני שבת נקבלה, נערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי, עורבה אל נפשי גאלה. אי די לך דודי, אי די לקראת כלה, אי די בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי בא אורך ומאורי, אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני לייק נגלה. אי די לך דודי, אי די לקראת כלה, אי די בני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תמי, בך יחסו עמי ונבנתה עיר עתילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. והיו למשיסה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמשוש חתן על כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי, אל יריש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. We rise, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני סגולה. בואי חלה, לך דודי, לך
דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. We would like to say at this time to those members of the community who have lost someone this week in particular, Hamakom Yinatchem Etchem Betoch Sha'ar Avlei Tzion Yerushalayim. May God comfort you and all of your family together with all the mourners of Tzion and Yerushalayim. In particular, sending that out to the Nachbar family. We turn in our Siddur to page 23 for Psalm 92. Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbat. Bifroach Reshem Ki Hinei Oivecha Vatabeit Eini B'Shua Bakamim Alai. 4 lines up from the bottom. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. They shall grow like a tall cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They will thrive in the courts of our God. Sadiq Katamar, page 23.
Sadiq Katamar Yifrach Ke'eretz Balevanon Yizke Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenun Beseva Neshenim Erananim Yashar Adonai Suri Velo Avlat Tamu. Adonai Malach Yehu Lavesh Adonai Ozit Azar Avtikon Tevel Baltimor Nachon Kisacha Meyaz Olam Atah. Naseu ne'arot Adonai, Naseu ne'arot kolam, Naseu ne'arot kolam, Yiseu ne'arot toch yam. Bikolot mayim rabim adirim bishperei yam atir bamarom Adonai Oref Yamim Adonai Malach Yehud Lavesh Adonai Osid Azar Avtikon Tevel Baltimore Nachon Kisacha Meaz Olam Atah.
All right, my friends, we turn now to Mourner's Kaddish. We are observing the Yortzites this week of Sylvia Dickman, Ashley Faulkner, Manny Fishman, Evelyn Fuchs, Florence Gaines, Tadal Garbati, Max Goodry, Etta Gordon, Saul Gottesfeld, Mildred Halpern, Rose Horwitz, Ernie Isaac, Blanche Kaufman, Philip Levine, Bert Mandel, Bertha Mandel, Sandra Margulis, Jerry Margulies, Barnett Miller, Louis Richmond, Ann Ritzi, Lillian Rosenberg, Bernice Rosner, Milton Ross, Sue Ross, Michelle Scherer, Ava Schneider, Coleman Scheichel, Rose Siegelman, Martin Smoller, Lenoid Vincor, Sigmund Weiss, and Fanny Zipkin. Mourners and those observing Yortzeit Kaddish is found on page 24. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei, bechayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv imru amen. Yehe shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam umei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May all of their memories be for a blessing. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to our Erev Rav for this evening, the legendary, the king of doo-wop, Mr. Ira Faber.
Thank you. Okay, well, good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Let me start off with a spoiler alert. During this talk, I will speak of things that occur later in the book of Exodus. You've all been warned. This week, we begin the book of Shemot, or Exodus, as it is known in English. It begins with the tale of Pharaoh and the Jews under Egyptian rule. Now, most people are at least familiar with the story, but few notice that this is really the first account of organized institutional anti-Semitism against Jews. In chapter 1, it states, and he, meaning Pharaoh, said to his people, the Egyptians, look, the Israelite people are much too numerous. Let us, Pharaoh and the Egyptians, deal shrewdly with them so that they may not increase. Otherwise, in the event of war, they may join our enemies in fighting against us.
Got very quiet, Ira. It's a little hard to hear you.
How's this? Is this better?
A little bit, but not much.
Okay. This is about as good as you're going to go. I'll talk louder. So they, Pharaoh and the Egyptians, set taskmasters over them to impress them with forced labor. And they built garrison cities for Pharaoh, Pithom, and Ramses.
Yeah, we're still having a lot of trouble hearing you.
How's this? Is this any better?
No.
I don't know.
If you can just check your sound,
Yeah,
or
it's good. It's the same as it was.
yeah, it was good at first when you started, but then it kind of just all of a sudden cut out.
I don't know. How is this any better? Or
Still no.
I'm sorry, I can go on, but it's up to you.
All right, let's have you save this for now. I'm going to go into a prayer for healing. Why don't you try to mute, and then we'll see if when we come back, maybe it'll be a little bit better. Okay. All right. So at this time, we're going to do a prayer for those in our community who are in need of healing in body and in spirit. So we will begin with my father's Misha Berach, and then we will read these names. Feel free to add, when I come to the appropriate time, the name of someone in your life that you know who is in need of healing of body and spirit. But first, let us sing.
מי שברך אבותינו, מי שברך אמותינו, רפואה שלמה. Bless the ones in need of you, help them be their guide. Walk along, carry them from darkness into light. Heal us, God, and hear our prayer, rock throughout all time. Mishem Berach Avoteinu, Mishem Berach Imoteinu, Refuah Shelema. Mishem Berach Avoteinu, Mishem Berach Imoteinu, Refuah Shelema. Take our hand, lead us through, keep us in your sight. Give us strength to carry on, hold us by your side. Heal us, God, hear our prayer, rock throughout all time. Mishem Berach Avoteinu, Mishem Berach Imoteinu, Refuah Shelema. Mishem Berach Avoteinu, Mishem Berach Imoteinu, Refuah Shelema.
And we say,
Mishem Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah Cheved Leah, Hu Yivarech Yirpei et HaCholim. Lucia Butaro, Tenidaro, Holly Deming, Ed Engel, Moshe Faber, Harriet Faber, Renee Gasparini, Rochelle Gasparini, Rochelle Gittel, Benzion David, Chaya Yenta, Fred Hedfeld, Nechume Golda, Larry Lord, Karen Markovsky, Kusvil Chaya Chaska, Chava Chaya, Mary Pector, Miriam Pedowitz, Podslons, Darlene Raphael, Audrey Robinson, Ilana Schwartz, Vela Kenya, Shale Schwartz, Zev Ben Gittel, Irv Silverstein, Maria Souza, Marjorie Taub, Bernard Taub, Harriet Faber, Regina Barton, Randy Polonis. ואת כל החולים בגלל קדושי בית אור, הקדוש ברוך הוא רחמים להם להחזים רפותם, וישלח להם מהרה רפואת השמיים מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף. בתוך שאר חולי ישראל, שבת היא מלזעוק ורפואה קרבה לבוא. Amen.
we ask for healing for all of those in our community that so desperately need it. All right, Ira, let's try this again. Let's get Ira unmuted.
Okay, how's that? I'm on a different computer.
Excellent.
Okay. So what I was talking about was how in the beginning of Exodus in the book, this parsha, Pharaoh and the Egyptians are worried about the Israelites becoming too numerous. Now, Did the Israelites do anything to make the Egyptians feel this way? Did they try to take over and run with the country? Did they plan a coup to overthrow the existing government? Of course not. In fact, it's because of the Israelites that Egypt became such a great nation. I take you back to the book of Genesis. Just completed that last Shabbos. At the end of Genesis, we learn of the insight and the guidance of one prescient Jew or Israelite saved the entire nation of Egypt from starvation and anarchy. To such an extent that he suggested that Pharaoh build storehouses and implement a mandatory 20% tax during the years of bounty rather than allowing the populace to consume the waste and excess. Though Joseph came before Pharaoh as an imprisoned slave, Pharaoh was so taken with his foresight and advice that he appointed Joseph to be his second in command and placed him in charge of this crucial project. Joseph was so successful, in fact, as we see from the text, that the Egyptians were not able to feed their own, but even to sell the surplus to residents of other nations, such as a bunch of brothers from Canaan. Once reunited as a family, Joseph brought the entire clan to settle as a separate but loyal community of citizens under Egyptian rule. Years later, Pharaoh was crowned, and one who claimed to be unaware how ridiculous of the Jewish pivotal contribution to Egypt's survival and enhanced international reputation. He insisted that something must be done about the Jews, for they had too much power. Otherwise, he said, the Jews would show disloyalty, joining those who come to wage war, and commentators differ on this point, either plundering Egypt's wealth and carrying it off to Canaan, or even expelling the Egyptians and taking the real estate for themselves. To be certain, all of Pharaoh's accusations were baseless lies, until his own blind hatred made them a reality. He not only enslaved the Jews, he made their lives impossible and tried to kill them out by drowning all newborn Jewish boys. The oppressed Jews cried out to God, who punished the Egyptians with a series of plagues that killed their crops, their livestock, and even their firstborn sons eventually. Oral tradition teaches that the Egyptians willingly handed over their wealth to the Jews so that they would leave and stop the plagues. In the end, another bout of irrational hatred consumed Pharaoh. He ran to wage war against the Jews and dragged them back, and he and his entire army were drowned. Maybe you figured out that I really did not prepare a talk about the beginning of the book of Shemot, of Exodus, but rather a drash about prejudice and anti-Semitism. Perhaps you find yourself among the many millions of people who believe this story to be nothing more than an interesting fable. If so, it is all the more necessary to ponder why it might be that although the Egyptian nation of that era has disappeared in the sands of history, the lies that Pharaoh believed and told about the Jews are precisely those that continue to be circulated to this day. Lies like the Jews have too much power and control. They care only about themselves. They think they're superior to us. They're disloyal. They make war against the innocent. They want to take our money and property. They want to kill or exile us. The Jews will do so to us the very things we now plan to do to them. And finally, all of this, of course, is the Jews' own fault, to which we might add one more thing. The Jews talk too much about their victimization at the hands of others. After all, we've been reading this story for over 3,000 years. All of this is based upon irrational fears. So how should we, as modern-day Jews, respond to anti-Semitism? Show pride in your Jewish identity and heritage. Don't use hateful language to respond. Your goal should be to show why bias is hateful, not to even the score. Don't call for bans on free speech. Anti-Semitic speech by itself is genuinely protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and other laws. What we should do is focus instead on countering bad speech with good speech. Don't give up. Most important. It's important to show how much this event or incident hurt you, hurt me, hurt us, and to share these feelings with our fellow Jews and non-Jews, because the actions that we take hopefully will increase understanding and lead to collaboration. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos, Yishar Koach, Ira.
Look to you.
Lovely, lovely. We continue with our Ma'ariv service, our evening service for Shabbat Eve, found on page 28. I ask you to please rise if you are able for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Baruch Adonai Mochel HaMasher. Umavir yom evi laila, umavdil ben yom uvelayla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, Amariv Aravim. Page 29. Avadol mit Yisrael chahavta, Torah mitzvot mishpatim. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'afta et Adonai Elohecha bechol vavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'elem Asher Anochi Metzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha Veshinantam Levanecha V'dibarta Bam Beshivtecha B'veitecha Uv'lechtecha V'derech Uv'shochbecha Uv'kumecha Ukshartam Leot Al Yadecha Ve'itutafot Beinenecha Uktavtam Amazot Beitecha V'yisharecha V'haya The team say something. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor Daber Al Bnei Yisrael Vayomer Talim B'Sut Tzitzit Velchem Tzitzit Uritem Velo Tatur Acharei Levavchem Ve'Acharei Nechem Asher Tem Sulman Tease Here's Adonai Elohechem Emet. Continuing on the top of page 32. Emet v'emru kol zot kivekayim alenu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'en zoto v'nachnu Yisrael amo. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים בני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם Yadadai dai 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 yadadai Yadadai dai 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 yadadai dai dai Yadadai dai 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 yadadai Ai dai 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 כמוך ביילים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא תהילות. אוסף אלה מלכותך ראו בניך, וקיים לפני משה. מלכותך ראו בניך, וקיים לפני משה. ירדאי רי 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 ירדאי, ירדאי רי 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 ירדאי רי רי, ירדאי רי 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 ירדאי, איי רי 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 רי. זה לי ענו ואמרו, נעים לך לעולם ועד. ירדאי לי 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 ירדאי, ירדאי לי 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 ירדאי לי לי, ירדאי לי 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 ירדאי. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדר את יעקב כל חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. 33, השכיבנו על לשם. והגן בדרך. ושמור צאתנו ואינו לחיים ולשלומי את אביעד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
We turn to page 34 as we usher in Shabbat with the quote from the Torah, Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בדברי ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבם, ויעלמה דברי חירותם נחמכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב ימרו. יהי שמי רבא מבורך, עמי עמיה יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, יתפאר בתורה ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשם. בריחו לילה מנחה בחטא ושירתה, תושבחתה ברחמתה, דם יהירן ביעלמה וימרו. Amen.
Continue with the silent evening Amidah for Shabbat, page 35, either the text in our Siddur or the words in our hearts, privately.
עושה שלום במרומם, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
We turn to page 47 for the main Sheva, Vaychulu.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים היום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי יבוש מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו לאבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אליון, קונה שמיים וארץ, מגן אבות בדברו, מחיי מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו בשבת קודשו, כי יבם רצה להניח להם, כי יבם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעון הברכות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה יעמדו שני עונג, זכר למעשה וראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, רצי מנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך, תן חלקנו בתורתך, ספנו מטובך, ושמחנו בישועתך, וטהר ליבנו לעבדך באמת, וטהר ליבנו לעבדך באמת, וינחילנו ארנה אלוהינו ביבב רצון שבת קודשך, וינוחו בישראל מקדשי שמך. אלי 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 אלי. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. יתקרא וקרא שמי רבה, בעלמא תברק ותברך מלכותי, בחיי כל ישראל, בקרב ושמקרב ימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלמי עמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתלש מקודשה בריחו. לעילה מכל כך ושירתה, תושחתה ונחמתה, דמירן במאבי מרו, אמן. תתקבל צונבות נכו ישראל, קודם ארון רשמי וימרו, אמן. יהי שלום הרב מן שמיה, וחיים על רצו וימרו, אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו Amen. Anyone interested in doing Kiddush tonight? Just give me a hand if maybe that's something that interests you. Kiddush, any takers? Any takers? All right. Okay. We're gonna go to Aleinu. 51. Aleinu l'shambeach ladon hakol. Please rise if you're able. Lateit kedula liyotze bereshit shelo asanu ki goyei haratzot velo samanu ki mishmechot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. כי המלכות שלך היא עולצים בחובות. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. Thought I saw maybe a Kiddush cup from the Zimmerman Moskowitz family. You guys there? Ethan, would you like to do Kiddush? Last chance. All right. We're going to continue on with Kaddish Tom Warner's Kaddish. And we remember those who no longer... Thank you. And we cherish the gift of their lives and the joys that we shared. Mourners and those observing your Kaddish is found on page 52. Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra kirute ve'amlich malchute. Bechayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uvizman kari ve'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mivorach le'olam omei almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh. Ve'yithadar ve'yithaleh ve'yithalal. Shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu yasei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We continue with just a couple of announcements. If I can find that sheet, I had it earlier, but of course it has disappeared when I needed it. That's all right. Just a couple of things here for you. Oh, here it is. Great. So we have our usual scheduled programming for this week, 9:45 services, and of course at 9 a.m. Drosh. I believe it's with Mr. Miller this week. Is that correct? Yeah, he's giving me a nod, a thumbs up. All right, awesome. But he's not providing any drosh, so you're on your own. He's not providing any nosh. Excuse me. You're on your own for that. And we of course have on the 12th the Chazak event, the making of the Dick Van Dyke Show. That'll be at 1:30. And Sisterhood Book Club is presenting How to Make a Life with the author Florence Rice Kraut. We have a minyan at 8 p.m. on Wednesday the 13th for requested by Mitchell Gaines. And we have a minyan tomorrow as well, tomorrow evening for the Nachbar and Mann families at 8 p.m. and as well as on Sunday for them as well. And there is a board meeting this Thursday, the 14th at 8 p.m. And stay tuned for Havdalah on the 23rd at 6 p.m. So, Mark, was that you wanting to do Kiddush? All right. No. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. So, all right. So we will continue with Yigdal on page 53. יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח נמצא וינד אל מציאותו אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו לעולם וגם אין סוף ליחדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו כבוד לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון דין ראשית לראשיתו הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר יורה גדולתו מלכותו שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומביט את אמונתו תורת מנתן לימואל היד נביאו נאמן ביתו לא ילך חליפה אל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו צופה ויודע סתרנו מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו גומל איש חסד כמפעלו נותן רשע רע כרישתו ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו יפדות מחי כקץ ישועתו מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו.
We continue with our blessing over our children. Those of you who are with your children, from near and far, we say for our sons,
Yesimcha Elohim kefraim v'chi Menashe.
and for our daughters, we say,
Yesimech Elohim kasara Rivka Rachel v'Leah.
and for everyone.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God show his countenance upon you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God show his countenance upon you and grant you the greatest gift of all, the gift of peace.
Shabbat shalom, my friends.
It's been a pleasure. Caleb, if we can unmute everyone so everyone can wish each other a Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.